I've written like 5 drafts of this intro for this video, but I realized none of that matters because you won't even know who I'm talking about. Today, we're going to talk about Rikido Sato, the most forgettable character in Class 1A. Actually, in all of My Hero Academia. Just to preface, I'm not saying he's the worst character or the most underrated or overrated character. Sato is just the most forgettable character, which is a bit worse than being just the worst. So, My Hero Academia is one of the better new gens when it comes to having a good side cast, as the school setting makes the side characters, who are students, more relevant in the story. Plus, the theme of working together to win and save the day is a pretty big plot point in My Hero. So what the heck is Sugar Boy doing here? And even though I was making fun of him, Sato's actual hero name is Sugar Man. So already, we're off to a bad start. There are 3 main reasons why I find Sugar Man so boring and forgettable. First off, Horikoshi had 2 places to add at least a page or 2 of Sato with it being justifiable and related to the plot. Deku's retrieval mini arc and the final war arc. There are definitely other places he could have put him, but these 2 make the most sense. When Class 1A went to take Deku back to UA during his little vigilante time, everyone in the class had something to say to him to remind him that they're friends and that they care about him. You wanna know what Sato said? He said he's not gonna lend him any more food dye to make candy apples for Eri. Look, I love Deku and Eri's connection, and I get the point Sato is making, bringing up the person that Deku saved, but you couldn't think of anything else to say in this moment? It's like such a nothing quote. Even Ojiro, who I clown on all the time, will talk about how you appreciate Deku's empathy and how he defeated Shinso. I know what you're thinking, Sato doesn't really have a connection to Deku like that, which is another problem. But Kirishima was like, I saw a kid on the news defending against a villain attack. Was that you? Sugar Man could have called out any of the things that Deku has done throughout the whole series. Like, why not take the Eri connection even further and actually mentioning that Deku saved her and all the heroes against Overhaul. Not to mention, Sato didn't actually do anything in this retrieval arc. When everyone was trying to capture Deku, like actually use their quirks and abilities and minds to hold him in place, Sugar Man was only there to catch Ojiro and Jiro. That's it. And I won't rant long for this next one, but the final war arc is just that. The final war arc, meaning hold nothing back here. All the big players, Deku, Bakugo, and Shoto, had their moments of course, but even the less notable characters had their time to shine. Soji and Koda had a great message while fighting the Paranormal Liberation Front, Jiro and Tokiyami had a hand fighting Alpha 1, and even Mineta stood up against the Demon King himself. Sugar Man, do something, save someone or punch something somewhat hard, like come on now. But actually, that leads me perfectly into my second reason for this forgettable character. His power sucks. Sato's amazing quirk is called Sugar Rush, which allows him to increase his strength 5-fold for 3 minutes when he eats 10 grams of sugar. His strength is capped at that 5 times multiplier, but for every additional 10 grams of sugar ingested, that time limit is increased by 3 more minutes. But there is a side effect. As Sato gets that increased strength, his cognitive abilities go down and he gets really sleepy. He doesn't get dumber per se, he just doesn't operate at 100%. Kind of like if you had a super long day at work or school and now you're put into a situation where you have to do really critical thinking. It's just a bit harder to do. That's it, that's all he has. Just a dollar store Kaioken. And I did some basic googling, I'm not a researcher, come on now. And I found out that a very avid male gym goer have around a 360 pound or 163 kilogram bench press, which multiplying it by that 5 means Sugar Man's lifting strength is around 1,800 pounds or 816 kilograms, which is nothing to joke about. And since this is anime, he's able to punch through concrete no problem. But don't take my slight praise for him too seriously, because Sato is utterly useless. I'm sitting here wondering how this man even got into Class 1A, because supposedly every entrance exam has those robots Deku had to fight. And sure, Sugar Man is punching through cement, but what about metal? I don't think so. I hear some people say, all fiction, strength isn't everything, and I agree. Deku basically has everyone's quirk in Class 1A. Black Whip, Float, Gear Shift. Strength is just a drop in a bucket for this class. But Sato doesn't even try to diversify himself. I'm bringing Ojiro back up again, but at least he uses martial arts and has incredible maneuverability. Sugar Man just has a move, like a named move, where he just punches a lot. He would be great at lifting rubble off people in rescue missions. Unfortunately, the students have been fighting the League of Villains since the beginning, so he's been pretty much on the back line for the whole series. Now, for my final reason, I'm jealous of him. I said it, I said it. That's right. This whole video on Sato has been my way of trying to get a one-up on him. But what do I have to be jealous of? I have a YouTube channel with almost 500 subscribers. Thank you so much, by the way. And the editing skills of a middle schooler. I should be set, right? Yeah, I know, but I need you to understand how bad I am at baking. Like burnt cookies, burnt cakes, smoking ovens, the whole work. And since Sato's quirk revolves around sugar and sweets, he is canonically a great baker, making desserts for his classmates and stuff. Like he's literally rubbing his skills in my face and smiles with those freaking giant lips he has as if nothing happened. Also, Sugar Rush as a quirk is pretty mid-tier and probably low tier, but he can lift around 1,000 pounds just by eating sugar. Give that to me. We don't need to discuss my lifting numbers, but it's not 1,000 pounds. He's honestly a bit underwhelming in his current setting of a shonen series, but he has everything that I would want here in the real world. But what do you guys think? Is Sato really that forgettable? Or do I just need to learn how to bake? Let me know in your comments down below. Alright, peace.